Circle people got kicked out, triangle people got kicked out. And I'm thinking, how do you blow the opportunity to move forward in the game when you have a circle and a triangle? So, yes, this video is brought to you by my Samsung Android. Alright, so take it easy on me. Anyways, shall we begin? I'm so nervous. I don't know why. It's been 2 years since I've done a video. And I don't know, maybe talking about the fact that I'm nervous will make me feel less nervous. Okay, here goes. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Collect Collective. As usual, I am extraordinarily happy to have you join me here once again, even though it's been about 2 years. Not true. Now, I have a whole lot to catch you up on. Well, not a whole lot, but I do have a 2-month-old now, and that means I have to get through this video rather quickly because I really want to put it out. I also started school, started my bachelor's, and I started a business, handmade polymer clay earrings, the Collect Collective on Instagram, and that's about it. Let's get into the video. Now, I don't think you guys know, but I really enjoy movies and TV shows, and this channel was originally supposed to be a review channel, and I even did a couple reviews if you look back at older videos, but I fell off, and I'm not sure why, because I truly enjoy talking about the movies and TV shows or series that I watch. So I've been wanting to get back to it for a long time now, and I kind of missed the bus when it came to the new season of Survivor, and even this most recent TV show, another competitive series called Surviving Paradise. Also missed it when it came to Love is Blind, as unhinged and toxic as it is. But Squid Games, or Netflix rather, just released Squid Games, the competition or the challenge rather, and I'm sure you all remember Squid Games because when it came out, it really took the world by storm. Everyone was watching Squid Games, and personally, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very interesting concept, very unique. And so when I saw that Netflix released the trailer for this challenge, I thought, all right, this is the perfect opportunity to jump on and do reviews, because I'm going to talk about it with my family anyways, and with my husband anyways, so why not talk about it with you guys too, because I typically have a lot to say. Without further ado, it starts out, I'm thinking this looks really good, because I realized that them stand up on the roadside like how they did in the TV series, and the bus picked them up, which was also a little traumatic, but the fact that they're trying to mimic the series so closely told me that this is gonna be good. Pick them up from the roadside, we start learning about different contestants, learning about their background, their motivation, why it is that they're doing the challenge for, you know, money. There's a prize at the end. And so the first game begins, green light, red light, just like in the TV series. And first things first, I was amazed at how similar it looked. The setup for the challenge looked, I thought they must have had a pretty big budget to pull this off. I, you know, like in the TV series how Catherine is speaking, you know, like in the TV series, if a contestant loses, then they die, they get shot or what have you. I was curious to see how they were going to achieve that in the challenge. And so what it seems like they did is attach something where if the people behind the scenes presses it, it explodes and it looks like, you know, they got shot in the chest, this black thing, which I thought was also pretty cool. So the game begins, green light, red light, people start to drop like fly. The thing explodes in their chest, and it seems as if production told them to play dead. Just drop dead on ground and don't move, because as soon as they started falling, everybody just freeze. And once again, I'm drawn into it because I see that they're working really hard to make this as realistic as possible. Minus the murders, right? The homicides. So that starts out really good. They seem to have a very diverse group of people, different races, people from different backgrounds, countries even, you know, different nationalities. They have a pretty good balance of gender, age, the whole mix. You know, it seems like they were doing their best to achieve representation, which was good. There were two people that I started to root for, this young man and his mom. Well, not so much the young man, but his mom, because I'm thinking, you know, she's up in age. How cool is it for her to decide to do this TV show and have fun with her son, bond with her son, Yeah, just have a good time, right? I see where there are a few characters, namely, I think his name is Brighton, who you realize from the jump is gonna be quite controversial, especially with his Jesus had to compete comment, and I'm like, bro, please leave my Lord and Savior out of it. But Brighton, of course, people like him are good for entertainment, so they're gonna show a whole lot of him. So the green light, red light, it starts off really well. Lots of people, actually about 250 or more people out of 460 plus were eliminated from that. So they move on now to the dormitory where they're going to be sleeping, and they did an amazing job with the setup. The budget had to have been off the chains. You had the drawings on the wall, the prison looking metal beds, you know, and immediately they start sharing with them the rules of the game. It's gonna have to be cutthroat, and I really enjoyed these sorts of games where people have to use a whole lot of social skills and psychology, making friends, and in befriending enemies and just working well with people. Love these sorts of games. So they brief them over this monitor, and immediately people start making friends. And of course, because people start making friends, some people, their approach to these sort of games is to be friendly and try to be likable, get everybody to, you know, want to be around them. But the trick with that is that you put a target on your back, because people see where you're becoming too popular, others like you, they gravitate towards you, and they feel threatened. And a lot of times it's just insecurity. I don't know, maybe it reminds them of high school when the popular kids didn't pay them the mind, and you know what I mean? I think sometimes it's a lot of that too, but immediately some people start to feel threatened and targeting those who are more social and outgoing. And we see where that's the case when they learn that they're going to have the opportunity to either give people an advantage in the game or have the opportunity to vote them out, because they chose two random people to choose someone to vote out. And what's the criteria for voting someone out? Since they don't know anyone on a personal level as yet, they start to look for people who they think is very popular, people who are getting along well with others. And so they ended up picking this guy who, unfortunately, because they even showed that clip where he was saying, you know, it's unfair to be voting out somebody random, like that's not fair, that's not fair. And to our surprise, he was the one that they decided to give the vote. So that was a little sad. It reminded me of the Indian guy in the series who was killed. He was deceived. But anyways, that's beside the point. So yeah, that guy goes, and people say that they mean business immediately. Now, as for the older lady and her son, I started to give them the side eye a bit, because they started to discuss who it is that they're not drawn to, who it is that they would vote out if given the opportunity. And while I get it, Brighton is pretty controversial. He doesn't come off as very likable. You can see where people would easily be turned off by him. You know what I mean? But they were like, you know, let's go for the bros, because they're just whatever it is that you said. I'm not sure. I was a big fan of her reasoning for targeting them. But in these sorts of games, people have to find whatever reason they can find or dig up to decide to get rid of you. So yeah, I was giving her the side eye a little bit when she said that. But we move on to the other challenge. So I realized that they are following the games in sequence, just like in the series, right? So they started off with green light, red light, and if you remember in Squid Games, they moved on to what's it called, the dalgona, where they had to be licking the cookies. And they put a bit of twist on it in this one, because in this dalgona, they had them form 4 different lines, and the persons, each individual at the head of each line, were called or was called into a room. And so in a nutshell, did I mention that this is a spoiler filled video? Is it too late? But yeah, in a nutshell, they had to agree to choose a shape, whether it's a circle, a triangle, the star, or the umbrella. And we all know that in Squid Games, the umbrella was the most difficult, right? So they tell these people to agree And this is the thing that's so upsetting. And I'm not gonna lie, I really loved how the first guy handled it, because they tried to bully him and deceive him into taking the umbrella, right? So the people them say the objective is to agree. Yes, I get that you're gonna have to be a backstabber in this sort of competition. That thing is entertaining. People love to see it, but how did they decide to make the selection again? Oh yes, they decided to do girl boy. No, they decided to do boy girl, boy girl. So a boy would be at the circle, a girl would be at the triangular, a boy be at the star, and a girl be at the umbrella. But the woman who was supposed to take the umbrella decided to take the star. So the young man was like, no, that's not fair. So, you know, of course, they're using fear and urgency to say, bro, take the umbrella, take the umbrella. And I'm happy that he stood his ground, because he's like, no, that's not what we agreed on. I'm not going to take the umbrella. They also had a timer going down. I think it was 2 minutes for them to make the decision. So when the time was up now, remember this is the first set of people. When the time was up, all of them got eliminated because they could not come to an agreement, and the young man who was deceived did not choose the umbrella. I'm not gonna lie, if it were me, Derek my husband, we were talking about it, and he was saying, you know, what would you have done? But in that instance, if it were me not gonna take it neither. Mind you, there's a whole lot of pride involved in it, but in this case where the game just started and the people them say, agree, right? I don't know, do some rock, paper, scissors, something, come to an agreement. Why you're gonna come to an agreement and then you're gonna switch? You know what I mean? Also, that's not gonna work out well in the long run for you, because people are gonna realize that you can't be worked with. You don't work fairly. You know, you are deceptive. So I'm not sure why she decided to pull that, but I'm happy that they all went down in the next round, because now those 4 have left the competition. They need a new 4 from the line to go and choose and agree. Once again, somebody choose his shape, and then the other person decided that they're not going to move from his shape, and then try to force him to take another shape, to take the umbrella, because nobody wants the umbrella. The circle is, I think the circle is the second easiest. The triangle, I think, is the easiest. Then you have the star, and then you have the umbrella. And with Dalgona, you're cutting out the shape out of the cookie and not breaking. The objective is to not break the shape. Now we move on, because this second group of 4 were also eliminated. So now we move on to the third group of 4 that they had to get to proceed with the game. And at this point, Derek and I would start discussing, would you have taken the umbrella? You know, and we're saying, well, it's really pride and ego that these people are caught up in, right? Feeling prideful because people are trying to play you, they're trying to deceive you, and they're not being fair. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which shape you get. You just want to make sure that you're doing it. Well, it does matter which shape you get. However, why put the objective of the game to win the money at risk over the shape? Just do the best that you can with whatever it is that you've been dealt. And we see that when we realize that a whole lot of the triangle and circle people were booted out of the game because they broke their cookie. So at this point, Derek and I were debating what we would have done if we would have taken the umbrella. I'm still on the fence. He's saying, you know, I would have taken the umbrella. Maybe I would have, I don't know, in a moment. Personally, you know, like people take me for idiot, but that's just me. So me that take the boot, I think 80% take the boot and get kicked out of the competition than you trying to play me. But yeah, they move on to the third group of people, and we meet this young man who seems to have a lot of anxiety, doesn't do well with other people. You know, him start crying as soon as they chose him to join this game. And so I'm wondering, why is he crying? Why is he so emotional over this? And immediately I was thinking, maybe he feels as if he's going to be bullied in this situation, and that's something that he would have experienced in his life before. And you know, he shares with us that he was a mama's boy, and you know, give us a bit of backstory. And so said, so done. He gets into the room, and Brighton, which is the villain of the first couple of episodes, starts to bully him. This other guy was like, you know, let's man up, you know, let's be a man about it. And so I'm thinking that, oh wow, you know, somebody is going to take the umbrella. let's be a man about it. Next thing you know, it's the star that he's taken, and everyone else but the young man who was crying took a sheet. They took the circle and they took the triangle, left him with the umbrella. Ended up bullying him into that decision, and you see where he's very emotional about that because he's already insecure, feeling like people are going to come down on him and hate him for getting them the umbrella. And I really wish he wasn't so hard on himself, like screw these people. Not screw these people, but at the end of the day, what you gonna do? Somebody gonna get the umbrella. So he took a whole lot of responsibility for that. Mainly, I think, because he didn't really put up a big fight and they forced him into taking the umbrella, so he wasn't proud of himself for allowing that to happen. But he was also just very hard on himself that, you know, a lot of people gonna be mad at him, that he was the one who cost them the prize money. I mean, I said, they was gonna get booted out anyways, and it's just totally unfair for you to put that on one individual. Long story short, a lot of people got kicked out, circle people got kicked out, triangle people got kicked out. And I'm thinking, how do you blow the opportunity to move forward in the game when you have a circle and a triangle? And I mean, I get it completely, because when you are frantic and then the timer is going down, the clock is ticking, you're nervous, your hand is shaking, you realize that any sudden movement can break the cookie, then it's very, you know, it's easy for it to happen. But still, them did kill up themselves over getting a circle and a triangle, and they ended up losing anyways and getting booted out of the competition. And umbrella people made it through, of course. Also, we see where Brighton has garnered a lot more enemies, people who just dislike him severely. To be fair, he's brought it on himself. You know what I mean? He's just not a very likable guy. Of course, the more he shares about his story, you realize that he is just very insecure. He is distrustful of people. So he puts up this bravado, this don't mess with me sort of attitude to keep people at bay and to gain respect. I don't know. But I get that they have set up his character in such a way for the public to dislike him, because they always need a villain in these TV shows. But for me, it's more like, poor thing. You know what I mean? To do all of that when really all you need is for somebody to love you, and for someone you can trust. You want somebody you can trust, right? Which is why you're doing all of this. So you move on now to another in-dorm challenge where they come with this phone. I think that is the section. Is this still episode 2? So we move forward and we see this almost a blow up between Brighton and this other Indian guy. The guy must have called him some name. I don't remember the name that he called him, but something similar to Jock, right? And he's like, what did you call me? Call me that again. Call me that again. Call me that again. So, you know, he goes up in the guy's face and he's like, I'm not going to put hands on you in here, but outside of here, I might put hands on you. You know, so he's trying to intimidate the guy. The guy calls him the name again. Brighton chuckles. He moves on. So now the guy has this vendetta because he doesn't like Brighton. He realizes that he'll be getting, or everyone will be getting, an opportunity to vote someone out, and he is just waiting for the opportunity to vote out Brighton. So they bring in a telephone, and I really enjoy the fact that it's a bit unpredictable while they're trying to follow the game from the series sequentially. They have a little bit of tweaks here and there, some minor changes to keep us on our toes, which I appreciate, right? So they bring in this telephone. Everybody is wondering what's going to happen with this phone. They gather around it. They're waiting for it to ring. So now, finally, it gets its first ring, and the Indian guy who had the clash with Brighton decides to pick up because he's hoping they're going to ask him to eliminate someone. So he picks up the first time, and they're like, you know, stay on the phone. Then, long story short, they bring him a burger. People take the burger, they take the fries, which was an interesting scene because the young lady who decided to take the big old burger for herself, wasn't she also the same one who got on Lorenzo about going back for seconds, which also wasn't necessarily cool, but she was like, am I tweaking, you know? What does it say about your character if you're gonna take other people's food or what have you? I found that very interesting that she was so critical of him, but then take the big old burger that wasn't even hers. I don't recall if it was offered to her, and just walked away. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was just weird. So yeah, they gave him food. Young man is not happy about it. He's still pissed about the fact that he didn't get the chance to eliminate Brighton. And I think that is basically how revenge works, right? You're so hell-bent on getting revenge, on bringing someone down, that eventually you don't realize that it's taking you down a path of destruction. Because the phone rings a second time, he doesn't give anybody else an opportunity to answer the phone. He answers it, and then they say, if you don't achieve what we're asking of you right now, you'll be eliminated. And what it is that they're trying to get him to do is to get someone else to pick up the phone. If he can get someone else to pick up the phone, Catherine is calling me, y'all. If he can get someone else to pick up the phone, then he's safe and they'll be eliminated. But if not, if he can't convince anyone else to pick up the phone, he's gonna go home. So now he's in a dilemma because he's so driven by hatred. And I get it, the guy was trying to bully you, he was trying to intimidate you, but you lost focus. So now he's frantic, he's talking about chocolate muffin. They're gonna give you chocolate muffin. So Brighton clocked it immediately, and he's trying to get everyone who is not his friend to pick up the phone. Why is that? So he was sketchy, right? And he started sniffing it out, which I thought was very clever. He tried to get this guy Darius to pick it up, and I'm thinking, Darius, please, it's not the time to be thinking about your belly. Try to use your head. Try to, be observant. Like everybody else is saying, no, Darius, no. And he's like, yeah, but chocolate muffin. And thing there is using urgency. The guy who answered the phone first, trying to use urgency and say, the time is going to run out. You have to pick it up. But long story short, Darius didn't pick it up. And so they tell him on the other end of the phone that you've been eliminated. So they come in, they take him out, escort him out, and everyone sees on the screen that he has in fact been eliminated. And I hope that was a lesson for everyone. While it is that you have some personal vendetta against someone, in these games you have to play it very cool. You can't be up in everybody's face. One, I say you want to be friendly, you want to be everybody's friend. I get it. You have to play it really low key though. On the other hand, you can't be in conflict with a whole bunch of people, because we all know how negativity spreads easily, right? And immediately that's a target on your back. So you really want to be playing it low key. I'm gonna have to wrap this up because my daughter is now calling me. I think she needs my attention. So yes, sweetheart, I'm coming. Mommy is coming. So yeah, you don't want to be overly negative and you don't want to be overly vindictive, because he's booted out of the competition, or because he was just so bent on the opportunity to get someone kicked out. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm gonna come back with the review for episodes 3 and 4 hopefully tomorrow. If you enjoyed this review, please give the video a like and comment below. Share what your thoughts are on the challenge so far, the competition. Are you rooting for anyone in particular? Do you have anyone who you happen to not like? Yeah, let me know below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your understanding, and thank you for welcoming me back with open arms to this space. You take care of yourselves. I'm gonna go take care of my little one. See you next time. Love you. Mwah.